Just want to give a warning that there is some reverb going on here. That's because both mics picked me up, did not pick up Hottest. So when he talks, it will be nice and crisp for just him. When I'm talking, unfortunately, you will be hearing double.
I'm okay with it registering just that first time. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Tangents Podcast. My name is Dollywood.
And I'm here. It's Full Throttle Auto, youtube.com/Full Throttle Auto.
Yes, always self-promotion.
It's not like it's not there if you're not watching.
We're going to break format here, and instead of doing 3 topics, we are just going to do 1 topic. But I think there's 3 categories within that topic that we can touch on.
I mean, listen, we could talk an hour and a half on a movie, no problem.
But we are going to talk about The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman. Matt Reeves and sparkly vampire Robert Pattinson.
Can I just do my full review first, and then you do yours?
Jesus.
And then we'll go back and forth, so that way we're not cutting each other off while we're doing our reviews. All right. I think it's a good movie.
Okay, hold on. Let's set some.
I always do out of 10. So if I rate
out of 10. But let's talk about performances.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll do story and dialogue.
Yeah.
So just like
the
narrative.
Yeah, the narrative
And visuals.
Yeah, you got it. So overall, I think it's a good movie. Visual, I mean, I'm just gonna go straight into visual. Fantastic. I mean, like, it's a dark Batman movie. Like, you really, if you fuck that up, you suck, and you should probably not make another movie. Yeah, because if you fuck up a dark Batman movie, you should just not make another movie.
You're not wrong.
You fucked it up. You fucked up the basics of any basic storytelling.
Right.
Overall story / script, like, you know, what you said, narrative, all that is good. I wouldn't say it's great. I think it's good. I have a few issues on that one. One, obviously, with Bruce Wayne. I don't care that he's a emo Bruce Wayne, like, not even a little bit. Ironically enough, my wife wasn't talking to me. She was watching the movie with her mom, and she wasn't talking to me. I was in the kitchen, and she was telling her mom, it's like, wow, he's so much like he was in
what, Twilight?
In Twilight.
Stop
bro.
Stop
when
it.
my wife said that, I was
Stop
like,
it.
I'm like, then I started thinking like scenes of Twilight that I had seen, and I'm like, fuck, it is.
Bruce Wayne was.
Yeah, but that's I
Bruce
think that's
Wayne
what
was
she's
for sure.
That's what she's commenting on. So Bruce Wayne was, in my opinion, out of all the Bruce Wayne that we've had, I think he's the shittiest when it comes to Bruce Wayne. Out of all the ones we've had, I feel like
I will
he's the
say
shittiest.
that I can't give a full comparison because I've never actually watched Batman and Robin in its entirety.
Right, I feel you.
But based on the stuff that I have seen, there isn't much Bruce Wayne in that movie. It's a lot of Batman.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. So
I would say I'd have to agree.
I would say he's probably the worst Bruce Wayne we've had. I will say this. I was actually just thinking about this in the car, how I could put it in words, and I still don't know how to put it in words. But the other part that I hated about the script / I guess acting, it applies a little bit of both, is Commissioner Gordon. I didn't care for Commissioner. Here's the thing. Normally when I watch Batman movies, I recognize that Commissioner Gordon there, but I don't really think about Commissioner Gordon, right? Because I'm thinking about what the fuck's Batman doing? What's the bad guy doing? How does this get resolved, right? I normally don't think much about Commissioner Gordon. It doesn't really, and that's not against any of the actors that have done Commissioner Gordon. I think they've all done a very good job at being Commissioner Gordon. I just normally don't think about it because it's a very well done job, because I feel like he's just a character. He's not an actor. And he's, doing the part of being a commissioner in a world of a vigilante trying to fight crime, like he's doing as much as he can, but like he doesn't get crazy amount of time on the screen, so I feel like every time it's done well. This time around, It's the first time that I realized I actually was paying attention to Commissioner Gordon, and when I wasn't for a good reason. I just didn't care for the actor. Like, he was doing the low pitch sound and the tilt, George Clooney tilt a lot of times, and he was, man, he was, and I was just like, I know that actor can do better. So it's either a bad writing, and he just did what he could, or a mixture of like he didn't know how to go on a Commissioner Gordon type of deal and not good writing. So that's kind of what I'm kind of throwing it at. But outside of that, also, real quick, I know we've had this argument before. It's not Falcone, is it? It's Falcone.
They finally got it right in this movie. It's Falcone.
But no, they said it like a few times.
Nope. We rewound it. Erica was like, "Look, is it?" She's like, "Is it Falcone or is it Falcone?" I'm like,
Dude, I could have sworn I heard Falcone every time.
"Nope, it was Falcone," and I was so happy with it.
I could have, dude. That's what was pissing me off. I swear to God, every time I
Nope.
heard his name,
Nope.
I heard Falcone, and I was like, "The fuck
You've been
is wrong
ruined.
with
You've
you?"
been ruined by all the other fucking.
I was like,
all
"What the
other
fuck is
media.
wrong with
No.
this? Is not hard. This is a fucking not hard." All right, well that's good. Maybe I just misheard of what they were saying. I will say villains were fantastic. Like even the Riddler. The Riddler, once we saw him and he did the creepy like conversation with Batman, I was like, "Oh, this is good. I like this guy." I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this actor is, but this guy's nailing this right now. I'm really liking the creepy Riddler. I think it's fucking like I get it, but I think it was dumb to say, "Hey, we got this actor in the movie," but like you'd never see him, and the only time you hear his voice and kinda his voice is when Riddler's talking to him, the guy that's portraying Joker.
But they didn't announce him.
They sure as fuck did. Like there was a whole articles and shit coming out. Oh, he's now rumored to be in the movie.
Rumored, yeah, but it wasn't. It was never something that was like the studio didn't announce it. Matt Reeves didn't.
I'm just saying. It just showed you how shitty news websites and just reporters are, because they went hard on this rumor and like you didn't even see the guy.
Oh yeah,
You
I mean,
didn't-
it's honestly, it's kind of the same thing. It's all just like starving for attention, because if you really think about it, they could have not outed the fact that all three Spider-Men were
Oh
in
yeah,
the Spider-Man
100%,
movie,
yeah.
but they did, because that garners clicks and views,
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
that gives
Well,
them
yeah,
money.
because they got nothing else to talk about. So, and then otherwise, I thought Batman was good. There was a few moments where I was like, that wasn't necessary. Like for instance, the chase with Penguin, when he goes to grab him out of the car, you see footsteps, and then you see Batman come down and I thought that was comical. And I'm like, you shouldn't have seen Batman's face. The whole point of Batman is that he puts the fear in you. You should have just seen him get grabbed like it was a horror movie, right? Like that's all you should have seen. You shouldn't have seen Batman duck down and look in the car. No, you should have seen him walking towards the car, and then you should have panned at Penguin, and you should have seen him just get ripped out like a horror film. Because that's the whole point. He puts fear into people, and like him going looking down was comical to me, not like. So that was dumb. But overall, like the few things I did like, even though I didn't care at all for the Bruce Wayne, I did like the switches between Batman and Bruce Wayne doing things, right? So like Bruce Wayne goes into the club, but then he gets in. In all reality, like there was no reason for that. Batman just always crashes into clubs and kicks everybody's ass. That's the Batman way. The whole like, I'm gonna go in to cut off these lights because I can't do it as Batman, so I'm gonna do it as Bruce Wayne, was kind of dumb to me. But it was fun seeing the transitions of like trying to have both of the characters do something in the movie. So I thought that was fun. Did it make sense to me in a Batman sense? No, but it was still fun. It was fun seeing the transitions between the two characters. Overall, I think it's a good movie. I do hope we get, I would say, a solid 3 movies out of this story. I do want to see what happens now that, like I've told you, I said, the story's been done with Batman. where they block, they cut off the city from civilization. Essentially, they make sure the criminals are.
Here's the thing. They didn't do that, though. And that kind of bothered me because they had this moment. And I really, as soon as they were like, oh, it's going to hit the seawall, I was like, oh my God, they're doing No Man's Land. Holy shit.
But then
I'm like, no, because at the end, they're like, the National Guard's coming. They're going to come with all the shit. Like, basically, they were like, we're going to wrap this
right,
up.
right.
So
but that's
into the next movie, we're not going to see any of the side effects of that besides the Penguin series and him rising to power.
I think you're wrong. I think they've.
I'll gentleman's bet. Next movie, there
all
is
right,
no
we'll
flood.
just have to remember to
There's
watch
no
what the
flood.
gentleman's. If there's not, it's dumb. If it's not, it's dumb.
That's
It's a
why
bad story.
I thought it was a great setup. Like I'm legit. Like I'm on
If
the edge of my seat. I was
they-
like, no, they're not gonna do this. I'm like,
If
it's
they-
super
if-
early for this, but all right, I'm with it.
Well, yeah, it's early, but at the same time, like this is second year in. This would be like third year going into it.
And I'm okay with that. If like this
Yeah.
third year is the hardest fucking year because it's no man's land, no
Yeah.
one can get to fucking Gotham.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
I was
but
with
it's
that
like,
too.
and right at the end, when they're like, "Oh, the National Guard's coming. They're bringing supplies. They're bringing all." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then they're just gonna come and fix it.
But I mean, here's the thing: they could be saying that, right? They're saying we got confirmation, but they could be in the background, be like, "Yeah, we don't know when we're gonna come." They played that before. They've done that before.
They could, and honestly, if you wanted to just like be super ballsy with it, and this is how I'd do it, I would just show President Luthor, because then it's like there is all this other shit happening in the world.
Oh yeah, I'm cool.
President Luthor says, "Yeah, we're gonna just like not do that.
Right.
Let y'all handle your own shit for a while."
Right.
Because that's what happened in the comics. In the comics, Luthor was like,
I'm fine.
"Cool,
with that.
I'm cutting off Gotham. No one can come in
I'm fine with that.
or leave."
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
You can
I'd be
say
cool with that because
Yeah.
then it's like there's a reason it's happening. It gives you the scope of that there's a greater universe here.
Yeah.
That there might be other shit
Yeah.
going on, and then you could just deal with Gotham shit
Yeah.
for a couple movies.
Yeah. So overall, yeah, I would say I'd like to see 3 solid stories out of this. I would like to see No Man Land, but I think it'd be dumb if they don't. They have it set up, so it'd be real dumb if they don't do it. I don't understand everybody saying this is their Batman. That's weird to me. If this is their Batman, man, they have weird wantings because I don't know how this is their Batman. Because like I said, there's points in this. Like if you bitched about other Batman, I don't know how you don't point out the fucking issues that this Batman has had within the film. So that's just me. But overall, I think it's a good movie. I think my problem with it is that I will never give until Discovery does what they said they do, where they give a Kevin Feige type. Fuck, you know what I would do if I was them? I'd go fucking Kevin Feige. I'd be like, who do you recommend for your role? It's like it's a win-win for everybody.
Would he though? Would he even give them a good
why
idea?
not? But why not?
Because that's competition. That's potential
Competition what?
potential dollars out of Marvel's pocket, Disney's pocket.
Only if they release on the same date. Otherwise, it's just another comic book
Yeah,
movie
but
to go watch.
you know, it's not. They'd have to plan movies 45 days between each other. They'd have to.
That's what I'm saying. You make that agreement. Hey, I'll give you somebody.
Oh my god, that would be sinister. That would be some Disney next level corporation shit.
No, because it works for both of them. First of all, it'd be dumb of DC to try to fight fucking Marvel on a release because they haven't been winning, so they're not gonna win. It'd be
Agreed.
stupid. So I would take that fucking if I was Discovery, I'd take that fucking opportunity ASAP. Like, what papers you want me to sign?
Right.
Just give me somebody that's as good as you to control this shit. I'd take that in any day. That deal, 100% right now, sign it. It'd be dumb not to. But I think my problem is like, I mean, the movie did have its issues. The actor did have his issues with being one part of the characters. And I was right on that aspect, like in the sense of like I was worried that he wasn't going to be able to accomplish it. And in my opinion, like I said, his Bruce Wayne, I didn't give a fuck at all for. But I think it has a chance of doing 3 solid. But the problem is I don't trust WB. I don't trust they'll give us more. I don't trust they'll do anything right from here. I don't trust they'll ever finish this story. And that's what they've caused. They've caused that. They've caused that distrust. And so I try to not give a shit. And so going into this movie, I went into not giving a shit. I went into like, I hope it's entertaining, and that's as much shit I'm gonna give about this. And like when it did end, and when I was like, okay, cool. If they actually tell us 2 more stories and they give us what they're pitching right now, dope. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of where I left it at. But otherwise, yeah, I would say, I mean, out of a 10, I give it a solid 8.
Wow.
I give it a solid 8. I thought
Wow.
it was a really good
Okay.
movie overall. Like
I'll
I
be
said,
honest
I
with
think
you.
overall-
For everything you just said that was negative, I was expecting a lower number.
No, I mean, I still give it an 8 because I think it's still entertaining. I still think it's well paced. I still think,
For as long as it is, it's definitely well paced.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think overall everybody did a great job. You know, like I said, I had like 2 character issues. Yeah, I mean, I can't, in all honesty, like I can't say like I'd give it a fucking 6 or something because I did enjoy it, expecting not to. So, you know, and when you go in expectation of shit and you come out with like, I would watch another one,
Right.
you know, it's good. Yeah, I'd probably give it, yeah, I would say an 8. 8 out of 10 for me.
Fair enough. So overall, I thought it was a good movie. I think it had a solid idea of what it was going to be. Like going into it, I don't think they were like, we need to make a Batman movie and he needs to be like maybe this and maybe this. I think they had an idea of the tone they wanted. I think they had a really good idea of the kind of characterization they wanted. And I think they really executed on all of that. However, I think they failed in a couple things. I think they failed Gordon. Not necessarily as far as the performance. I think he did a good job. I think what we missed, and maybe this is the trappings of Man of Steel, right? We are seeing him not at his like final form. We're seeing the Gotham that we know in its final form.
Right, because it's
But the way I saw it is, in all other permutations of the Batman, Gordon is the guy that deals with the Batman. The Batman shows up. Right. He's like, here's some ideas. Thank you for the evidence. Here's my quick analysis, right? And I get it. He needs to be on scene to see it now. Fine. But Gordon was never alone except towards the end.
I do have to admit
every single time, like the framing for Gordon, every time he was in a shot, it was him and 40 other fucking cops.
I have to admit that it was weird, 100%.
Because to me, Gordon is a hero character, and a hero character isn't one among 40.
I agree. So that was weird on
because even on Gotham they got that.
But for me, like Batman in general, is always at a crime scene alone or with Gordon.
Yep.
Not 40 cops.
Yep.
Never 40 cops.
In the
evidence
room,
of 40 cops.
Like this makes it.
I mean, fuck. Even like look at some of the things they've done in more recent times of Batman storytelling. Like even let's say the Arkham games.
Yeah.
When he goes to Arkham Asylum, right, to do an interview, it's Gordon, 2 doctors, and Batman.
Yep.
And the bad guy.
Yep.
It's not a fucking team of 40 cops.
Yeah, and it's like him just like walking into
30 different fucking psychiatrists. Like that ain't
I
what
understand.
It is.
Look, okay, again, I think it may be falling into that trap of, oh, well, this is like young, inexperienced Batman. Sure, but like he's already put the Joker away.
Right, he clearly has already put him away.
Something
yeah, he knows
at this
something.
Point.
Yeah,
we're at a year because in the deleted scene, the Joker says it's their 1-year anniversary.
Right.
So he's at least one. Like he's. I mean, let's say he started in January for some reason. He's in the back half of his 2nd year.
Yeah.
Because he keeps a diary and he dates it. I'll be honest, I thought that was a little weird. But whatever.
It's a few things, yeah.
I don't like the Bruce Wayne at all.
No, not even
and on several levels. Like on his performance, this like like half open mouth bullshit. Like,
But that's the problem. That is the Twilight. That is the Twilight look.
I mean, like, it kind of was, right?
Yeah,
It kind
it
of was. Like,
was.
he was like always about to say something.
Yeah.
Like, and then he just never did. Like when you
Maybe
said,
that's why there were so many Batman clips and not
it
as
could
many
be-
Bruce.
And look, no. But I also no. They set that up. They
No,
they for sure set that up that
yeah,
he was like,
100%.
I'm Batmaning. Fuck Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Although, ironically, most of the problem in this movie could have been resolved if he just went to work by being Bruce
I know,
Wayne
right?
and maybe checked some of those books.
Yeah, right.
Just most of the problem in
Yeah.
this whole movie could have been resolved if he just went and Bruce Wayne it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But all right, but again, we're accepting that he's inexperienced or some shit, and it's kind of like it did not strike the balance of this guy went and for 7 or 9 years, however the fuck many years they say he did, trained with the best of the best and learned all of the things to come back and then just kind of half-ass it.
I think that's the
Like,
problem, though. I think
It doesn't strike
this,
that balance.
I think this Batman didn't do that.
You're thinking he was just rich and just put on a fucking costume?
I do not think this Batman went and trained with best of the best.
So you don't think he has that Batman Begins sequence?
Not like that, no.
I mean, I could give you that. I could give you that.
I don't think
Because
this
I
Batman
will
is that.
say, and I think this was purposeful, and I think this was intentional. This Batman is still learning how to fight,
Yeah.
especially crowds.
Yeah.
He takes a few hits,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay
I was
with
like,
it.
second year, this guy's gonna take a few hits still.
Yeah.
Like, but in the next movie, I expect him to be pretty much aces.
Because listen, even though it's the next movie,
Although the fact that he's bulletproof and immortal helps him in this one.
yeah, right.
Yeah, because he was definitely impervious to harm. Because he got splattered by that fucking railing.
No,
when he was-
I mean he had
when
to
he
take
was-
that adrenaline shot to get the fuck up.
at
so,
the end, yeah. And
so, I mean, he
by
had moments where he was
by the
hurt.
way, 100%, I understand why everyone was like, "Did the Batman take Venom at the end?" No, it was
No, he took an
probably
adrenaline
just
shot.
adrenaline.
Yeah, it was
They
an
made
adrenaline
it
shot.
green for the sake of visuals.
Well, I think it was for the sake of just how it was dark.
Yeah,
So, like,
because if it
I
was just
think-
clear, you'd be like, "What is he taking?"
Yeah,
Because
no, it wasn't-
adrenaline isn't fucking green.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Venom. It was.
I,
it was
as soon as it happened, I was like,
adrenaline.
"It's just adrenaline."
It was just.
But
adrenaline.
even I was like, I see why all those articles exist.
Yeah, I get that, but those articles exist because, like you said.
Well,
earlier,
yeah, I mean, there's that. They took that moment, and it's like, all right, no, they're not going to set up Venom this way. They're not going to be like, oh, Batman is a fucking junkie.
Yeah.
I mean, they could. It'd be, I guess, possibly an interesting story to tell, but I don't think we're going down the Batman is deeply flawed. I think Bruce Wayne is deeply flawed.
I think Bruce Wayne.
Batman seems to be pretty much tip top, and even when the literal chief of fucking the commissioner of police says he's tampering with evidence, they're like, let him do his thing. He's got it. He's got a different perspective,
Yeah,
and it's like he doesn't do his job. The cop is like, oh yeah, that's a carpeting tool. It's a knicker. It nicks the. Yeah, a tucker. That's what it was. It was a tuck. It tucks the carpet in, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, something under the carpet. And I was like, "Are you?" See, he did that. You didn't do that. You didn't detect that, motherfucker. You just looked at it, and then the guy was like, "Carpet."
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say like it's year 2, so he obviously hasn't
But I will also.
researched everything. There's no
But I'll
way he
also
would
accept
have
that
known.
he's a rich boy and he doesn't know what manual labor tools look like.
Sure, but it's not even just that. Like, even if I saw that tool, like, I honestly, when he picked it up, I was like,
I thought it was a
that's-
hatchet.
Yeah, like I didn't know. So like, I don't think he's gonna have.
Yeah, but I also would.
But the
like,
fact
if
that
you-
the
like,
fact
I've
that he
seen you-
quickly, but the fact that he quickly was like, oh shit, okay,
I've seen you weld, and if you showed me like a garage full of shit, I'd be like, maybe I could tell the welder apart. Like, I've seen you weld in person.
right.
I still couldn't fucking identify. Like like specialty manual labor tools are still very much like for that industry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's like I don't expect him to know what a tool is when he picks it up, but if somebody tells him what it is,
Right.
and he's able to pick up like how that could be used,
Yeah.
which was very well done. I respected it.
Talked to him and he's like, everything was there. Like, how did you not get it? Blah blah blah.
Right.
I did like the Riddler. I liked the Riddler very much.
Me
As
too.
far as he was a modern day like fringe motherfucker on the internet,
Yeah.
and that added some real
Yeah.
fucking terror to it. And the
Yeah.
fact that all those like hundreds of people
Like
were
did
his
what they
followers.
did. Holy shit!
Like,
yeah.
like some fucking
Yeah.
hardcore January 6th type shit. Them motherfuckers dressed up like him. They coordinated an attack. Yeah, that shit. That there was a lot of realism to that, and
100%.
it brought a little more uncomfortableness
It
to
really
it for
did.
sure.
It actually brought like while I was watching, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah,
Like, it brought
like that's
fear.
happening. Like
Yeah.
those things are happening
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
on the internet, and it's really fucking scary. I think they had a really good vision of what they wanted out of this movie. I like the fighting. I like the bat suit for the most part. I'm glad they finally at the end of the movie showed him actually take the thing off his chest, because I was like,
I know,
whole
I
time
know.
we've been building up this fucking suit logo. What does it do? And then he finally takes it off, and it's a big batarang. And I was like, okay, I mean that's something.
It's great, but like
Just like
That
we
one
sat
time,
on it
yeah.
for the whole
the
movie.
whole time, like
damn.
I guess he didn't need it the whole. I mean,
I guess I did like the fact that he had legitimate like grappling guns. Like that was cool. Like
Yeah.
we saw those
yeah,
things.
I agree.
I mean, I think overall it was a good movie. I did not like the Bruce Wayne. I did not like the way Gordon was shot. Again, I think he did a good job performing it. I just don't think I don't think they visually told Gordon's side of this story well. They just kind of like meshed him in with everyone else, and he was just another cop. And I think even at this early stage, we should have seen him separate. And that's why towards the end, when the two of them went and did a bunch of shit,
Right.
that felt more natural. That felt more real.
Sure.
Like, because even like this is a vigilante. Let's say these are all good cops and none of them are corrupt.
Right.
They should want to arrest him.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's just no way around that. They should want to arrest him. So to just be like, Lieutenant, are you sure? No, arrest him.
Right.
But like you said, if all of them leave and Gordon's like, all right, I'm gonna check, I'm gonna look over the scene one more time. Batman comes in the window. That's the move.
That is the move.
Because then it's like
That
they're
is the
out.
move.
They're not gonna be
Yeah.
we're not gonna have this 5-minute disagreement of whether you should be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, that's-
that is the move. The move
and
is.
it's going to be hard for me at this point to then accept that going forward, what the cops just have an understanding that they all leave the scene and let the Batman come in and solve their fucking cases for them. It just, if it's not mystery off the bat, how do we get to mystery? Because it doesn't make sense then. Because if they're like, oh yeah, he just shows up sometimes, he's just like a freelancer.
Well, because that's the like to me for Batman. I mean, I get it. This is a different universe, different
Yeah. I mean, of
Earth,
course.
Earth or planning or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But still, at the end of the day, there's some things you just don't change about Batman. The whole point of Batman is he scares the good and the bad.
Yeah, he's a
doesn't- he
scary
doesn't-
dude.
He doesn't just scare the bad guys because
Yeah,
if he
and,
didn't,
and I
scare,
think they showed
'cause
that
if
at the
he-
beginning when he like beat up all those fucking muggers.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the fucking guy who was about to be mugged and possibly killed was like, "Don't hurt me." Like that was good. Like I
that
like
was
that
good.
whole
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
I didn't love. Like I liked it. It was fine, but I think it dragged on a little too long. We're staring into nothingness and we're just hearing footsteps. I think it built up the tension, but I think like 3 steps shorter and it would have been the same scene. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 seconds shorter, it would have been still.
Yeah, 100%.
I think those like there's like 3 of those moments in the movie. Those kind of drag a little bit.
Well, like I said, even for that moment where he's gonna go grab the penguin, like if you
Yeah.
just showed him take a few steps and then
Yeah.
you pan to penguin,
Yeah.
and you see penguin
And
get yanked out like a horror movie.
I was gonna say
That's a
another,
shorter clip than what you did,
That's
which
a-
is
that's
showing
another-
him fucking walk for like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's another
And
I
then
think
look down.
failing
I'm like, what the
of
fuck?
that's another failing of the the visual storytelling. I will say, anyone that was mad at at Batfleck killing people, this Batman murdered as many fucking motorists as he needed to get the Penguin. There was 13 to 30 people died in that chase.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of him.
Yeah.
There's just no way around that.
But you didn't see Batman do it.
Yeah. So accidental or incidental death is fine.
I will still say this. Ben's Batman had way better combat.
I agree. But I think that's just because he was more superhero.
Way more, yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted a superhero Batman movie.
Me too. You and I are on the same terms.
I will say that, like, even with that desire, I was still able to enjoy this movie.
Oh,
like, it was a
like
good. Like I said, it was a good movie. I think it was a good, solid flick. It is definitely the noir Batman that everyone fucking wants, which is fine. Whatever. It's honestly, whatever they do with this, whatever the next Batman they put out, whether it's Batgirl or whatever the next Bat property is,
right.
If it's not superhero, I'm bored. I am genuinely starting to get bored. Because, like, even in the comics, you get, like, that right now they're doing, like, a fucking medieval fucking thing with Batman. They're also doing, like, a zombie thing with Batman. Like, they're doing all these different things with Batman. Whereas in the movies, ever since the fucking 90s.
Christian Bale.
Well, ever since Christian Bale, but even ever since the fucking Dark Knight comic, everyone's like, oh, we need dark Batman. So when the two Keaton movies came out, they were like, oh, it's dark. Which it was, but, like, not that fucking dark.
Right.
And then it was like Schumacher came in, did his Schumacher thing, which is fine. I will say this one's close, but I still think that Batman Forever is my favorite Batman movie. Strictly Batman movie. But, like, those movies weren't dark, but no one fucking liked them.
Well, my problem is like, we never got a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
We didn't. And that's why I really wanted one.
Yeah, because I bet money.
Really,
I bet
really
money the Ben Affleck Batman movie, if allowed to be done by not an asshole, Whedon, and if it was, let's say, Affleck directing, because he's actually a very good director when it comes to, like, serious roles.
Very much
he's
so.
very good. So, like, him introducing serious detective work, while at the same time action, I think would have been super interesting.
Serious detective work. We could have seen, like, him dealing with a younger protege. Like, he could have been in the process of, like, training or, like, even passing on the torch to a Nightwing or a Tim Drake Robin.
That's what I'm saying.
Or, God, can you just for a moment imagine a Batfleck movie where he meets Damian?
Dude.
He's a 50-year-old fucking, he's done. Like, he's recently renewed because he's got the team now.
Right.
But he's old. He's finishing his career, and he meets a fucking 12-year-old boy who's a murder machine.
Right.
And he's got to teach this kid to be a good kid.
I think a Ben Affleck Batman movie would have been dope.
Because it's like right now, if you were to be like, oh, Pattinson meets Damian.
No, not
bored.
even a little. Yeah. No, it would be awful.
Like,
please don't.
Please don't. I would seriously. I'm hoping that they bring him in for some things during the Penguin series and the Arkham series, because there was supposed to be a Gotham series, but that, like, as they, like, developed it, it turned into an Arkham series, I guess. So there's not going to be a Gotham PD or whatever the fuck series. It's just going to be an Arkham series.
We kind of had that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. When they were like, oh, there's going to be a Gotham series, I was like, I mean, we just did that, but I guess, sure. So when they were like, oh, it's going to be Arkham, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm interested in that, because that gives us some possible scenarios. I mean, breakouts and various things. Yeah, I'm interested. I was concerned about the Penguin series because they were like, oh, it's the Penguin's rise to power. And I was like, I don't need a fucking prequel series. We just did that on Gotham. But then when I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, it's his rise to power after the downfall of Falcone.
Yeah.
It's his rise to being top dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, now I am interested in that, because also if it's still him, I mean, and it is, he did a great fucking job.
Right? Yeah. No. Yeah.
Colin Farrell did an incredible job.
You didn't even, dude. My
Couch. I don't understand why she's walking around. Like literally, you saw me. I literally took them out before you got here. Colin Farrell did such an incredible
my
fucking
mother-in-law
job.
didn't even believe it was him.
Erica was like, "The fuck it is." I'm like, "This is Colin Farrell."
My mother-in-law was like, "That's not him," and I'm like, "That's 100% him."
It's so like you can catch it in just like angles.
Yeah.
You can see him, but it's like the prosthetic work was fantastic. Like,
dude, bro.
Again, not again. Rather, for the first time, I haven't touched on visuals. The visuals were fantastic.
Fantastic, dude.
The visuals top tier across the fucking spectrum. I have no problems with any of the visuals.
Not even a little
I
bit.
think this is one of those scenarios. I mean, there's a shit ton of graphics in this movie, but it is impeccable to the point that you never question it, and you don't even know where it is.
Yeah, not at one
I would
point.
be shocked to have any layman watch that movie and point out graphics because I couldn't fucking do it.
They will.
I mean, but I'm saying like to like point out where they use graphics.
Yeah. No, they will.
Like besides obviously like the water scenes and things like that,
Sure.
obviously, but it's like it looks real, and
Yeah,
that's
it
when
does.
it's the best. It looks like it wasn't done, and that's when it's the best shit. Like when it looks like there wasn't, like it looks like everything was practical. Cool, that is the best CG work.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I just wanted, like, I feel there's a lot of talk happening right now about like CG not being respected. And I wanted to kind of like give that a moment.
Yeah.
The prosthetics, like the costume department was incredible. The prosthetics on Penguin were so incredible, but then he also brought out this voice and this personality that was so good that I like during the fucking movie, after I have verbally to my wife identified him as Colin Farrell, I was just like, oh yeah, it's Colin Farrell. Like he's so fucking good.
I said he was gonna be. I thought he was gonna steal the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think he stole the movie, but he did such a good. I think Riddler stole the movie.
I disagree. I think Riddler did a good job. I think he did a great job, especially because he has such a dark persona when he's in costume, and then he was just this like impudent, whiny, but sadistic fuck without the mask. And he was like, "This wasn't supposed to go this way." And it's like he's like a little child not getting his way, but he's also clearly still very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I think he did a really, really good job. But I think just because he was in so little of the movie comparatively, I can't say that he stole the movie for me. I will say I was horribly underwhelmed by Andy Serkis. Like he was fine, but it was like he was fine in so much as I could have done that role. Like it didn't, like it wasn't a very fleshed out Alfred. It's just like he showed up, hey, you need to go to this meeting, and then he just shows up for these little moments, and then he's like, oh, he solved the puzzle because he's good at puzzles. Cool. It just like
I didn't care for
I didn't
Alfred
care.
at all.
I didn't care.
Like not in the sense that I thought he did bad acting. Just I didn't care. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
care.
Exactly.
Like when they did the whole like, "You're not my father," and I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
"Yeah, didn't care."
I was like, we're pretty early on that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't give a shit. And can we
Yeah.
move on? I don't care if he's not your father. Move
Yeah.
the fuck on, Bruce.
Yeah, and it's like I will say they resolved that towards the
No,
end.
they did. Yeah, but still.
And that was good. I like that, but I don't know. I just even throughout the whole thing, even with the finale, even with the like them resolving the whole you're all I've been ever needed, blah blah, blah, like it didn't feel genuine because Alfred wasn't developed enough in this movie.
No.
I think it sucks to say, but I think for Alfred, it relies on you to have known Alfred as a character.
I won't lie to you. My favorite Alfred, granted, I didn't watch Pennyworth, so I don't fucking know on that part.
He's so good.
My favorite Alfred is
That should
Gotham's
be the next
Alfred.
thing I watch.
My favorite Alfred is Gotham's Alfred.
He killed it. That was a great
Like,
fucking Alfred.
that was an Alfred that could take care of himself and a fucking young child.
And this is kind of based on the same approach. Mostly I would call that from like Earth 1, from the Earth
Right,
1
sure.
book. Because he's got that cane and he's
Yeah.
former military and he's got, but I just didn't like the you're not my dad and like He
But that's the
raised
thing.
you, motherfucker.
He raised you, but I also didn't feel like Alfred was a badass, which I wanted Alfred to be a badass.
No, yeah.
I felt like even though we didn't get a Batman movie from Ben, I still felt like that was a better Alfred than the one we got in this movie.
Yeah.
Because that one felt like a badass. In the whole
half
like,
as many movies
yeah,
and half
yeah.
as many fucking scenes.
Yeah, that's what
half
I'm
as
saying.
many scenes.
Half as many scenes. He felt like a better like a more badass Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's.
But to
fucked
be
up.
fair, it's Jeremy Irons, and I think personally, Jeremy Irons is a better actor than Andy Serkis.
But still, it also goes to writing.
He's a different kind of actor, but he's a better.
He is a
actor.
different kind of actor.
Because it's like,
but he is a better actor.
Jeremy Irons
but it's not,
couldn't do Caesar.
But not. But it's still not just an acting for this.
Right.
For this, it was definitely writing too. So
for sure, yeah. There was a lot of, I think, misses as far as portraying of the characters. I'm genuinely like, I would love to see, even if we don't see Batman, I would love to see Bruce in the Penguin show and in the Arkham show. I would love to see Bruce and see him like develop as a character.
Here's the
because
thing,
like right
though.
now, I don't give a shit about Bruce Wayne.
Here's the problem, though. We won't.
Well, I mean, Colin's going to be on Penguin. Why wouldn't he show up?
Because I think, how can I put this? Whatever happened between Pattinson and the production of that movie, if it was COVID, if it was a unhappiness with the director, with Pattinson's body, whichever story is true, I think that alone, just the fact that there is already speculation and no right answer on what happened, tells me that in my belief, I do not believe Pattinson would do the show. I think because, honest to God,
Maybe.
because I believe in his eyes, it's beneath him. I'm just saying it. That's
Bruv.
I'm just saying it.
Nah.
I'm
Nah.
listen, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he would do the show even in the tiniest bit.
Listen, if somehow this gets to Robert Pattinson's ears or eyes, brate da ti kažem, you're not too fucking good for it.
No, he's not. Not when my fucking wife says you reminded her of fucking Twilight. That's a problem, homie.
Yeah.
When my wife says that, that's a big problem.
No, yeah. I really...
This is the least critical person I know. So for her to say that,
That's fair. She might be the least critical person I know as well.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair point. That's a really fair point.
She barely ever not likes a movie. She barely ever even talks about like critiques a movie.
Right.
And for her to point out while watching the movie that you remind her
Rough.
of Twilight.
That's a rough one there, Chief.
That's not good. Trust me, that's not a compliment in my eyes.
The Batmobile was okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of hype about it, and we saw it in the one scene, and then like later he was just driving around.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool. Like, it did not feel like a feature of the movie as much as it was in any of the other movies.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because even in the original, the Batmobile like had its moment. It was like he turned it on, and everyone just kind of stared at it for a while, but it was in the shadows, so like, you couldn't see it.
Yeah. Listen,
Cool.
is it the most practical Batmobile?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a car.
Yeah, it's the
a
most
legit car.
practical Batmobile that we had.
No, the Tumbler is the most practical for urban warfare, but
because
because it's an actual
yeah, but we're talking about
warfare vehicle.
He's not. Batman doesn't do warfare. That's like he kicks ass.
Nolan's Batman did.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like people give Nolan's Batman so much fucking like approval, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, he drove a tank across buildings.
Several. Because remember, he built like 4 of them, and
So,
they were stolen by the enemy in the last movie.
You bitch about Ben Affleck like smashing dudes' heads into crates, but you don't bitch about fucking Christian Bale driving a fucking tank.
Christian Bale's Batman caused the most property damage of any Batman
Dude,
on record.
He made people go, bro, poor.
Yeah, there was rich people that came out of their office and were like, my Bentley! That was $200,000! I mortgaged my house for that.
Yeah, right? Fucking man.
Oh, dude, no, like that. I laughed my ass off. That's why they did an SNL skit after the first movie came out about the Tumblr, and I was like, that's exactly it. Because they kept talking about the fact that like this dude was just driving over people's cars and shit.
Like out of the most practical use and what makes sense for Gotham,
Yeah,
this was the most practical.
Yeah.
Batmobile.
except the first Batmobile because it turned into a motorcycle.
Yeah, there is that.
But then you
But
left,
that was very much comic booky.
but then you left half of it just in an alley.
Yeah, and just that.
What happens with the rest of it?
It does its own thing because it's got self-driving mode.
Yeah. The other two pieces.
That's right. Very comic booky on that one.
But you know what? And I will give the Burton movies that they blended a sense of realism, because I won't say it was realism, but it was like it like grounded it, but it was still very much a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like it brought Joker more to a like human, realistic perspective.
Right.
But then Schumacher came in and was like, "Nah, fuck that." And the Riddler can read your mind through TV fucking beams and shit. Yeah. I love that. Was dude. Which Riddler is better?
This one. And I love Jim Carrey.
This one's scarier.
Let me say this. I don't love this one because I don't love Jim Carrey. Or I'm sorry, I don't say this one's better because I don't love Jim Carrey. I say this one's better because I think overall as a written character, it feels better.
Right.
It's the writing, it's not the acting.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously, I think if you were to strip away the top portions,
I've said this to you before.
Forever,
you give me Jim Carrey 24 Jim Carrey with that longer hair, then you put him in a coat, and then you do the little crazy what we just saw now, or a lot of crazy that we saw now. I take that Jim Carrey any day.
Yeah, there is. I still think there is an unexplored power of the Riddler that we haven't seen in cinema yet. And I think if you read Year Zero from the New 52, that shows you how you could do a mysterious, dangerous, and still comic booky
100%,
Riddler, because he shut down the power in Gotham.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it was kind of like he no man landed it because he cut off all the bridges, all that shit. And it was kind of like that, but it was just like he shut off all the power and he was in charge. And this was like
before we get too far into this tangents that we keep doing, what is your rating of the movie?
What is my rating of the movie? I have to consider everything, and I think
that's why I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I think if I give the visuals a 10, which they absolutely were,
they absolutely are.
If I give the acting overall like a 7, and the story, I think for sure is an 8.
Yeah, for sure.
I could average that at an 8.
Yeah.
I could average that at an 8 with you. I think obviously different thematically, different visually, but this to me, because I'm pretty sure I gave the first Wonder Woman, an 8. And I think so. I think this to me is the same level. Like there is room for growth, but I think it hit all the marks of what it was trying to do for sure. And I think it gave me enough enjoyment. I was never like, oh man, like really, there was never a moment of like what the fuckness.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Wonder Woman 84, I definitely was. There's been a lot of movies where I've been like, oh, okay, like you just got to kind of like roll your eyes and let it happen.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in certain things I didn't feel that way with seriously tangent. I didn't feel that way with the girl power moment in Endgame. I thought it was a bit much, but it was not like oh my god, this. But I have seen enough little girls reacting to that moment for the first time and just exploding in jubilation that I can't even fucking hate that moment anymore. Little girls love that moment, and I'm like, I'm all for it. Fucking
listen, that's fine. I'm glad that little
shit.
girls
Almost
like
died.
that moment, and that's badass. I will say that I think. I mean, I guess I'm not a little girl, so I can't. But like to me, I felt the better moment was when fucking
When Wanda
Captain-
came down in the first one in Infinity War.
no, when Captain Marvel came down and fucking destroyed his ship. And
Oh
then,
yeah. Oh,
and
that.
Then,
I mean,
and then took his ass on.
But I think I think it was like singular versus like the girl team up.
No, I get it.
And I get that.
But you could have done that better. Like it didn't have to feel that
Absolutely.
cheesy. Like, it felt cheesy.
I genuinely want them to do an A-Force movie. A-Force is like the all-girl Avengers.
Yeah, do it.
I want that movie so
yeah,
bad. I really
just don't do it
like
cheesy, but yes, do
both
it.
A-Force volumes. Like, I was mad when they canceled it. Because there was so much, like, shit that it's like you don't get to explore some of these characters. You don't get to explore some of these characters' interactions with each other because it's like an Avengers team of 30 fucking people.
Right.
You've, She-Hulk and Black Widow,
Right.
or in this case, let's say Wanda. She-Hulk and Wanda are in the same scene or in the same comic, yeah, but do they speak for more than 3 seconds?
Right.
No, because you got
Right.
all this other shit you got to talk about. So if you just put all the women on a team, you get moments where they can just have conversations.
Yeah.
They can just interact with each other, and you get to build actual character.
I just hope they don't. If they do it, I hope they don't do it cheesy. I want them to do it. I just don't do it cheesy. Don't be cheesy about
I'm
it.
okay. I don't know. Like a certain level of cheese is fine. If they do a fun movie where it's not like hard, like I don't know, like how to explain it.
All I will say is that like that
cheesy's
moment,
fine if you do the movie kind of from that perspective.
right?
Like if you do a movie where it's fun situations, we're not dealing with like a cosmic world-ending scenario, which I think I'm kind of over that for now. Like let's do some normal like bad guys. Like I really want like a regular villain for an Avengers team.
Sure.
It's like I don't want something world-ending for a while.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, like when you're involving somebody like the Hulk and Thor, who have these
Sure.
absurd strengths and powers,
Right.
I feel like you need something world-ending because that's a part. Like for a normal dude, that's irrelevant. You
Right.
do not need that.
Yeah, is that for me? What's that? What you got there? No, I'm doing a podcast. Well, don't put that there. No.
Okay.
Pepper, leave it. Pepper. Leave it.
Okay.
I don't know why she... Bo, couch. Motherfucker.
Okay.
I don't know why she just put it on the
I
fucking
don't know.
counter.
I don't know.
She had to pee. That's why. She ran upstairs.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if I get where you're coming from, but I think when you do, for me, if you do Avengers, you're doing everybody. They're powerful. It should be a normal dude. But I would like to see some
I don't mean a normal dude, but I mean like I don't want
cosmic.
cosmic, like world ending. That's
Listen,
like
we did have two cosmic things.
We had a lot of cosmic things.
Well-
Ultron was gonna blow up the world.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about we
Like-
had like really cosmic. We had two. We had Thanos, but then we also had fucking Eternals. We had literally a Titan growing out of Earth.
I'm
so.
okay with just like some dudes trying to take over the world.
Did we ever talk about? I don't think we ever talked about that on podcast. I have to admit, man, when I saw, what is Galactus technically known as? He's
Galactus?
Yeah, he's a
devourer of worlds.
yeah, Devourer Worm. But he's part of the thing.
Oh, I guess technically they're probably in the MCU. They're probably going to call him a celestial.
Yeah, Celestial. So
He's not, but
I'm saying it looks like they're kind
They're
of
probably
going that
going that
route.
way,
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
going. But when I saw one of the Celestials be in front of Earth, I'm like, you nailed it. This wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult.
you're
Holy
telling
shit.
you're telling me a giant cosmic robot standing next to Earth wasn't really that difficult?
Apparently, it was for other people.
Fox.
I know, right? Fuck. When I saw it, and I was like, everybody, the whole reason, we didn't do this
Because it's like
We
everything
didn't do
about
this
that
in
movie was
Fantastic
fucking great.
Four.
That movie was fucking
Was because
great.
everybody was worried, like, how do you do this? Or the whole reason that we didn't do it in Green Lantern is how would this feel real?
I almost
Hey,
get
guess
why they
what?
didn't do it in Green Lantern, because he's like a giant yellow cockroach.
I get that, but still, it worked. It was a giant
Yeah.
robot in front of Earth talking to all of Earth.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we were talking about.
Having a normal guy for Marvel.
Yeah, I like give me like the Masters of Evil. Give me like they're building up to that. It seems like maybe.
Listen, you can have a team movie within a single person's movie. Like Doctor Strange's fucking having like 3 people in his movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can have a team movie without it being the Avengers.
I don't
I think for the Avengers, you leave it at cosmic because, like I said, you have at least 2 Avengers that are insanely powerful.
I don't want them to do another Avengers movie for a
for
while.
a while. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want them to give like obviously we're gonna get Guardians, but and of course that'll be something cosmic because that's their whole bag. But like,
I just hope not what Guardians 2 had. that
was a little much.
Listen, here's the thing. I would have accepted everything except when they decided to do the whole point of him throwing ball with his like that was a cosmic ball with his
cosmic ball.
A cosmic ball with like even him being a planet which was fine, but the whole like that was completely unnecessary. I'm sorry. Like I get it. He's never had a dad. Yeah, he did. We found that out. It was Mary Poppins. He had
Mary Poppins, y'all. No, yeah, I think I think that is going to be its own thing. I really want them to do an A-Force movie.
Yeah,
or even a show. I'd be okay with like a 6-episode series. By the way, somebody was like, I would have rather gotten, like 2 or 3 movies of Moon Knight than a series. I'm like, it's the same amount of content, 6 hours.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Assuming each one was 2 hours.
And then you're depending on the first one making money,
right?
To make
if
a
the
second
first
one
didn't make money, they wouldn't do.
They would make 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Which that's the problem. Like right now with Eternals is like, they said they'll be back, but like,
well, they'll be back, but they're not going to be back the same way. I think we're going to probably see.
I don't think we'll have an Eternals movie.
No, because it's too much.
Yeah.
Eternals as a concept is too much. I think we're going to see the Eternals in other things.
Yeah.
And then we're going to finally maybe.
I think honestly, I think we'll see the Eternals in Guardians.
You mean like the ones that went out on the ship?
Yep.
Oh, with Eros.
Yeah.
Star Fox.
Yeah.
Was it Harry Styles? Is that who it was?
I believe so.
Harry Styles. I don't know shit about him. So, my point is, I'm okay with there being just like Guardians movies. I would love for them to do an A-Force show or movie. Young Avengers movie, I'm sure is happening with like they're setting up the young characters.
It would be smart.
100%. I would love that.
Off, no problem.
Yeah. Again, another something that I feel like would do best as a show, and then maybe like wrap it up in a movie. Because especially now. So we just did The One Who Remains, who is a Kang. One of the founding members of the Young Avengers.
I didn't watch Moon Knight, so I don't know.
No. Loki.
Oh yeah.
The He Who Remains. He Who Remains is a Kang. Kang is a founding member of the Young Avengers because he goes back in time, wears one of Iron Man, like wears a variety of Iron Man's armor, and he helps found the Young Avengers.
I will say this. We were talking about clickbait.
Yeah.
Right. There is so much clickbait out there that when I open, I told you, when I open Chrome on my phone, I had that the first initial thing shows me a bunch of news at the bottom.
Yeah.
And one of the first things was, what's the guy that acted Moon Knight?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac left Marvel for this. All he did was, or left Disney for this. Left Disney for. I clicked on the article just to fucking. I knew it was bullshit.
He left the actual Disney park.
Yeah. he went to the one across the street.
Orlando.
Well, yeah, they're both Orlando, but like it's called
Universal.
Universal. Yeah, that's what the article was. Yeah, he left Disney, guys. He didn't go.
Yeah,
He betrayed Disney. He didn't go to Disneyland or Disney World.
It's so
He
hard.
went to Universal.
It's so hard to participate in the internet because
That's why I stay off it so much.
you
now.
gotta like pick a news source who does all the legwork, because otherwise
The only reason I wasn't even. By the
any
way, I
news
wasn't even
you
looking for
consume
that.
would take you days to
The
get
only,
to.
like I said, I try to stay off the internet now as much as possible, and then somebody's going to go, well, how'd you see that article? I saw that article because I went to go research wheels. So I had to pull up a new page to start searching,
Yeah,
and that was there, so it caught my eye.
right.
Yeah.
It-
So oh, by the way, when I do that, I go back, I hit the back button, I click on the 3 dots, a report, and misleading.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Google's gonna know I don't like that shit. And I hope they get in trouble by Google. I hope Google's like, fuck you guys, we'll keep getting misleading, because that is misleading. You're playing into people's bullshit,
but it's
misleading.
yeah.
It's
dumb.
misleading. They
It's
know
dumb.
what they're doing,
I
and
mean,
it's misleading.
online news, online articles, all that shit is dumb.
Because they could have said, I didn't go to Disney World. But that's not what they did.
we have lost the, I don't want to say the capacity, because there are still people doing good work,
Oh yeah.
but we have, as a general society, lost the desire for a
Proper journalism.
proper journalistic integrity.
100%.
It's funny because they're like, oh, it's the social media platforms, rage farming and showing
Sure.
you just stuff you're gonna hate.
Yeah.
No, it's also the people writing articles trying to get you to click on them, because their only commodity is your eyeballs.
Yeah. It's a mixture of a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know.
And of
Yeah,
course,
sure.
exactly. It's not. It's not. Any
It's not
one
just
thing.
one, but yeah, but like, okay, you can say it's part of the blame is social media. Sure. The other part of the blame is people.
Yeah.
People don't have an attention span.
But that's also because of the news,
Like-
and
like perfect
because of the
example-
media that's been
Yeah,
presented.
100%. But it's also an attention span of people. Like, if you had an attention span, they wouldn't worry about clickbaiting you. They would believe that you would go on their article.
There's
read
too
it.
many options. There's
There's too many. Because, like, for a perfect example, my newest video that I released,
Uh-huh.
the guy commented, it was a dope comment, really happy with it. But then he commented back after I commented, and he said, I really hope you put some kind of coating on it to prevent the rust from happening again. Well, if you watch the whole video, I do mention that I'm going to grind it and then put POR on it, just like I did on the 240.
Well, you didn't do it.
Right, but I said I was gonna. He said, I really hope you're gonna.
I mean, maybe he watched
And
it. Maybe he just didn't catch that. I didn't catch that.
I mean that's very possible. But I'm just saying, like, the attention span is not there. You didn't catch it because your attention span isn't great. I see how you watch videos. You speed through them, and you don't always pay attention to them. You hear them, but you don't hear everything because you miss things. I do it sometimes too. I'm guilty of it. When I play in the background, I don't speed things up. I let it play at normal rate. But sometimes when I'm working and I'm having it kind of play in the background so I can at least hear what's going on if I can't necessarily always pay attention visually. But then I'll be like, I missed something there. And then I have to go back and I have to go back. Or sometimes I just don't give a fuck. And I just go on. I let it play through. You know, I hear most of it and
Right.
I move on. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but I'm just saying it's not just, I mean, listen.
Hey, I'm still glad I do that, because I watched Space Force in less time than it actually takes.
Sure, yeah.
And they canceled it, so I'm glad that I didn't
I
spend
mean,
all of that time.
I mean, listen, there you go. Yeah, I mean, listen, I
legitimately don't remember how that show
everybody's
ended,
going to
though.
consume
It's
media.
not a great show at all.
Everybody's going to consume media like they want.
Yeah.
My problem is even if you are consuming it how you want, you should still have pride that you're actually paying attention to everything. Because you can't have like this. If you're doing this, if you're having conversations, if you're doing a podcast,
Right.
but you didn't pay attention, you don't know what the fuck happened.
Right.
Like, for instance, a good example. Motherfuckers say they're car people, right? They're car guys. You know, I love cars. I know everything about cars. I'm a car dude. I talk about how the car society should be. There's a person on Facebook right now that posted some shit.
It sounded specific.
And they said, they brought up the new GR Corolla. And they said, I forgot what the original post was, but in the comments they said, I wonder what they're going to get out of these engines. And I'm like, so there's at least one popular YouTube / performance company in Australia that's already done for almost 500 horsepower on the stock engine. Here's the video. And then I'm just like, and then they're like, but that's a 3-cylinder though. And I'm like, yes, because it's the same drivetrain in both cars. But if you were a car person, you wouldn't be talking out of your ass. You would have done the research before you fucking made a post. Because that's what I do, right? I used to talk out of my ass when I was young, when I was fucking 16, 17, when I thought I knew.
Might be young kids.
No, this is not a young kid, my guy. This is a guy our age. Yeah.
Well, then I have nothing to say.
Exactly. It's listen, I've done this shit. I've talked out of my ass when I was young.
Right.
I just recently, I thought I was never going to find it. I found a post where I was talking out of my ass about the GTR back in the day, like in high school days. And I was like, I cringed. I cringed so hard. I was like, why did I say stupid shit like this? Because
when you think you know what's going on, you say some shit.
Yeah, 100%, man. But at the end of the day, it's yes, consume the media how you want, but don't bitch or talk about it if you're not properly paying attention to it.
Exactly. So
because you don't have the right.
Exactly.
Oh, I consumed it. No, you didn't. You consumed it, but you didn't really consume it. You didn't pay attention. You don't know exactly everything that happened. So you can't bitch about it.
Yeah.
If that's how you consume, that's fine, but you can't bitch about it because you didn't get the whole story.
Yeah. I will say, even though I don't remember how the show ended, it's kind of a lackluster ending. Space Force did something that I've never seen a show do. They set up something really interesting at the end of season 1, and then season 2 starts 3 months later after they have already resolved that, and all of the things that were interesting that we just never saw. We were just dealing with
Isn't that the Steve Carell show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank God I didn't start watching.
It honestly, you know what's funny though? I was scrolling through the news, and they made a thing today. And they had some sort of meeting, I guess, of the military armed forces, and they were like, "Oh, the Space Force, like whatever general, whatever the fuck he's in charge, comes to the meeting, and oh yes, they did fix the pants." And I was like, you know, it's funny. That show was meant to be a joke. You can't make the actual military branch the joke, because then it's not funny.
Well, there you go.
Why are we talking about their pants?
There you go.
I was like, what the fuck is this article about? Oh, yeah, apparently people didn't like the pants when they first made the uniform. They fixed the pants. I was like, are you joking right now?
Well, I mean,
this
listen,
is a military branch.
You know how you
Why
stop
are we
people.
talking
You know
about
how
this?
you stop people from making comedy movies or shows about the military? Make it unfunny.
Make the military the joke.
Make it a joke in real life, and it's no longer funny to watch you.
It's, oh my God, dude. It was so... It's like the shit that was interesting about that show was that they just went wild with all of it.
Yeah.
It was like the other branches treated Space Force as like the joke branch, so they all kind of ganged up on it.
Yeah.
And then, but like Coast Guard still got shit on, even though like they were technically still like more proficient than Space Force.
Right.
And then his wife, who was played by from Friends, the blonde. Oh my God! What the hell's
wait, hold on.
No,
there was
not-
two blondes.
the dumb blonde?
The dumb
Phoebe.
Phoebe, yes.
Whoever, I
Phoebe.
forget her name.
I forgot her name. I'm sorry.
So the woman,
You know how many actors and actresses there are? For me to remember
Yeah.
everybody's name is
Yeah.
gonna like.
No.
I even forget Robert Downey Jr. sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
No, I'm
that
with you.
one dude. How am I forgetting Iron Man's
Yeah.
name? Like,
Yeah.
Because I remember Iron Man. Iron Man's been around for 60 years.
Exactly.
Robert Downey
Exactly.
Jr. might have been around for that long, but I've only known about it for a lot less.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. Gun to my head, I couldn't fucking tell you her name. But anyway, she plays his wife. who is in prison, and they're trying to co-parent. She's got a lover in prison.
Jesus Christ.
It's an all-women's prison. She has a lover. They're trying to co-parent. Like, this is the show. The show is not about Space Force. It's about, like, these ridiculous characters. Like, the other general that works with him is, like, I don't know, like, it's funny because he's, like, his assistant, right? He makes the coffee. He takes calls. But he's also a general. He's a full bird general. Is that what you say? I don't fucking know military shit. But my point is, but he's dumb as a box of rocks. But somehow he's a general. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
That's the kind of stuff I expect.
And then, like, John Malkovich is in it. And John Malkovich is, like, a top-tier fucking actor.
No, yeah.
And John Malkovich plays this, like, hoity-toity, like, professor.
Well,
like,
listen, Steve, honestly, I would put Steve Carell up there with John Malkovich capabilities. Is just he tends to do.
That's a statement.
Yeah, but you got to watch some of the shit he's done serious roles on. And
I guess.
Yeah, he's done
that's
some
a statement. Yeah, because he murdered it on the morning show. I
haven't even watched that,
bro.
Yet. And
when he in the first season, when he does the shit that he does.
Just so nobody's confused, I actually don't care that much about Steve Carell. Like, most of his style comedy, I don't care to watch. Because I'm not a big fan. I'm actually not really a big fan of the comedy, but like the role he's put in for the morning show. I'm just putting that. The reason I said that is because I don't want people to think like I have this like.
He's not like on a pedestal.
He's not on a pedestal.
I get it. On the morning show, he plays a news anchor who is accused of sexual assault. Like being inappropriate and all these other things. And like, there are several women coming forward. And, it's like this history of behavior. And there is this scene where he comes back to the station, and he's just like, I worked with all you people, and like, me, and he's just losing it, right? Because he's lost everything. His wife has left him, took the kids. Yeah. He's lost everything. So he's just losing it in front of all these people who worked with him for years, and he just fucking murders it, dude. He's so good.
That makes me want to watch it even
It's
more.
a great show.
It
is an incredible fucking show.
I'm trying to
I thought Jennifer Aniston was a good actress, and watching this, I'm like, even I didn't give her enough credit because holy shit.
I think she's actually a really good actress.
I've thought that for a long time. She did a movie, I forget what it's called, but she did a movie where she's like a small town waitress, and she like wanted to try to get out in town. Like, I thought she did a really good fucking job in that movie. And even like when I started watching this show, I was like, even having her like at a good position as far as what I thought she was a good actress. I was not giving her enough credit.
No, yeah,
She's
I'll give her props for a long time now. I've been giving her props. Like, most people are going to remember her from that role, right? That's the role that most people are instantly going to think of.
Sure.
And if you look at that role, like, she's playing kind of like a dumb blonde, right? Not as dumb as Phoebe, but she's got her moments of like, she's not, she's
kind of like
she makes a lot of mistakes.
She's a basic bitch.
Yeah, she's
kind of a basic bitch.
Yeah. She's made mistakes, right? Her parents are most likely not going to be happy with her because, she's got a failed marriage. She doesn't have a real career.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But then when you watch her in other things like this show, and then you realize, holy shit, like, even though that was like a very, like you said, a basic bitch character to play.
Yeah.
Now when you see what she can do on both sides, then you're like, fuck, that was actually really good acting.
Yeah.
Like,
I did
like,
that.
Oh, maybe that was just her.
I underestimated someone like that. The sister, I forget her name, but the sister on Dexter.
Yes.
You
say this a lot.
I fucking hated her.
Yeah.
The first like 5 seasons of that show.
But then
because I was like, I cannot fucking stand this bitch. But then I watched Quarantine, and I'm like, oh my god, she's actually just a really good actress. You're not supposed to like her.
Yeah. You're just not. You're not supposed to like that character.
They did a really good job, like writing her and making her character kind of this like unlikable
Yeah, you didn't care.
Like
yeah.
not good person,
you
but
don't.
also kind of a good. Like it was a weird
was
fucking
weird,
character, but she did it really well. To
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't like this bitch.
Speaking of being accused of sexual
Jesus,
assault and
okay.
stuff like, well, no, because you brought it up in the show.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm watching Leverage.
Yes.
Yes, I'm on season 3 now. I just started
Ah.
season 3. Like episode.
I fucking
Like
love that
I'm
show.
barely into episode 1 in season
That
3.
show's so good.
And apparently the reason the reason Nathan's no longer in the new one is because he got accused of
Oh no.
oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He was also.
Yeah, he's
in,
now suing the people behind the show for breaking his contract and not putting him in the show over this I don't know if it I don't know
Was he? Maybe he was already like set to go.
possibly. Yeah, I don't know. Possibly.
Timothy Hutton.
Timothy Hutton, yeah.
He was. Oh man, he was so good.
I do like him.
But it's just like I'll be honest with you. I see this photo of him, and he's like.
Oh, I won't lie to you.
He's
The
like
whole
an
time-
old white guy, and I'm like, he kind of reminds me
I
of.
won't lie to you. The whole time
Weinstein right there.
I won't lie to you. The whole time I'm watching him on the show, I'm like, this guy looks a little predatory.
I don't even mean just generally. I mean specifically like.
No, yeah, I'm talking about his looks.
Like that.
Yeah,
this,
Yeah,
Like that's a.
yeah. Even
That's
on the
a-
show,
That's
even
a creeper.
yeah,
That's
even
a
on
creeper.
the show. dude.
Like it
But
feels
so
that
I don't
way.
know if he was accused, but like never. I didn't look
So he's
into
suing
it.
the studio.
He's
so
suing the studio
he's
for
not
them-
like he's not like putting his time, energy, and lawyers into proving his innocence. Rather,
Well, I don't know if he already had. I have no idea. Like if the allegations were already like.
Sure.
You know,
They just didn't want to. They didn't want to associate.
yeah. So they just didn't want to associate with him or whatever.
Did Nathan die?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean, he in season 2 he got shot, but then he went to jail. He survived the shot
Right.
and he went to jail.
That's such a good show. Oh, another fucking great show, Fringe.
I love Fringe.
Fringe is a fantastic
Yeah,
show.
no,
They
if
need
you-
to do 3 more seasons of that.
Well, no, they ended it. So
They shouldn't do 3 more seasons.
nah.
They should
It's
do 3
fine. You could tell.
Give me 3 more
Nah, you
seasons
could
of
tell-
alternate reality.
Nah, you could tell
fucking
towards
sci-fic.
no, they did a good ending to that. There's no reason for them to continue it because they did a good ending to that.
Give me like more. I want more.
Nope, I will stop. I will tell you right now that is a show they should not bring back because they gave it an ending.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, like a lot of shows get an ending, but they still come back and they're really good. So
Yeah, I don't know which ones you're talking about because like Prison Break.
Bel Air.
Yeah, but it's
By the way,
it's a
fun
different
fact-
show.
fun
You're talking
fact-
about bringing them
yeah,
back in
no,
the
no,
sense
I'm
of like
saying-
continuation.
no.
That's
Fun
not a
fact. No,
continuation.
I'll be okay with like a new take. New take would be interesting.
No.
Although I feel like it was recent enough that you couldn't really give me anything new
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If it was
And the
like
visuals were
90s
really good.
for what they were, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact. So I watched the first episode of Strange New Worlds. Outstanding. Real quick review of season 2 of Picard. Holy shit. Slow burn. Like good Star Trek throughout. Last 2 episodes, really fucking bring it home.
Right.
Last episode, I was just fucking crying.
Well, that's the problem. See,
Um,
that's my problem though. Like I love the payoff when you get a really good last 2 episodes,
Yeah.
but it needs to be good the whole time.
It was still good. Like there was still good, interesting stuff, good action. Like it was still good.
Okay.
But it was just like, kind of like regular Star Trek, regular like good,
Yeah, I
like
feel
good
you.
across the board. I would say Discovery's still better. Like there's just more action in that show. Like
I
it's,
love
so
yeah.
the Picard is way more of like a thinking show, and that's fine. There's a lot of stuff like with Q and dude, I can't even fucking. I'm gonna start crying. Great fucking ending. Anyway, but then I watched the first episode of Strange New Worlds, and they made it so that the first captain of the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701, when she first left space dock, the first captain was a black man, and he's played by Uncle Phil from the new show.
From the new show.
Yeah.
I love it.
My wife said the same thing because old Uncle Phil's dead. So
Well, yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
so,
that's
yeah,
why I
he-
was like,
he
that's why I was like,
he
they can't.
plays Admiral Robert April. who has been mentioned before.
Dude, when we talked about Bel Air, I said I want him in more shit.
He does a really good job. He does a really good job playing.
So, I want a series with him. I don't care if he's on Bel Air. I want a series with him in Star Trek. Do it, damn it. He can do two things.
I'm sure he could.
Come on, Bel Air was 8 episodes.
He did it was 10.
Whatever.
It was a good show.
It doesn't matter. 8, 10, whatever.
Season. Did you finish it?
Yeah. It was whatever. I told you, everything's too much at once. It's as much as I love good pacing.
I didn't love the finale. Like, I didn't love the he leaves and now he's gonna he's wondering. Marlon Wayans, holy shit.
Well, I knew Marlon was in there because I saw his Instagram post before I watched this.
I was concerned that they were gonna make
I'm not
Lou
I'm not gonna lie to you.
likable.
So in my head, I'm like, when he said it was in there, he didn't say who he was.
Sure.
He just said he was, being in Bel Air was dope or whatever. And I was like, who the fuck would he? So two things came to mind. I'm like, Will's father? Like I said that, and I was like, maybe. But then I was like, maybe he's just another, he's like a bigger, badder gangster than the one.
I'm glad that plot.
I'm glad that's out. I'm glad that's done. I'm glad they're not pulling.
But I'm really glad it was resolved off screen.
Yeah.
And it was just like a hint of how badass Jeffrey is.
Yeah.
By the way, I was like not one for Pennyworth. I was like, who the fuck needs Alfred
that's true.
Pennyworth
And I was there with you.
prequel series?
I was there with you.
Let's get I said it as a joke just because I think it'd be funny because I was thinking comedy Jeffrey,
right?
Who in my head was just like a fucking player. I think he was just he was just out fucking in this fucking youth. I do definitely want a prequel series of this Jeffrey though, because he's clearly
also him. I want to see. I don't know his name.
Multinational.
I don't know his name, but I want to see him in more shit.
He's fantastic.
Whoever the fuck
He's fantastic. Yeah.
runs Hollywood, this motherfucker better be in so much more shit. I absolutely love him as Jeffrey, and you can't. You literally you're sleeping. You're sleeping if you don't put this man in more shit.
Yeah, he's fucking killing that. But anyway, so they made him be Admiral April. That's dope. Robert April has been mentioned in the Star Trek before, but he's never been shown. He's been in the comics. They've made him a white guy in the comics, but whatever. None of that shit's canon, so it doesn't matter. But he goes to pick him up. So it's been it's right at the beginning. So it's been however many months since the shit in Discovery season 2. He's Pike's, he's fucking grizzly and he's in fucking the Montana winter, and this motherfucker lands a shuttle right in front of his horse because he's riding his horse in the cold, which I don't think horses like the cold, but I don't know. I don't know horses.
I don't think they give a shit as long as they're warm, while
I suppose,
they're running.
So he fucking parks this shuttle right in front, and he's like, "You spooked my horse." He's like, "Well, didn't mean to." And I was just like, "That's fucking funny," because he's like, "It's a giant ship. Of course you knew it was going to scare the horse.
Right. It was going to scare something."
Like, Jesus Christ. But he's just like, "Yeah, you got to go do some shit." And it was like, damn, that's... So then I the whole thing, I'm like, the first captain of the NCC 1701 Enterprise was a black man. And I'm like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's no there's no reason to effectively, there's no reason to be excited about that in the Star Trek universe because there's a lot of fucking black people in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's still exciting because of the property and him being captain. But I mean, it makes sense to me because it's not like Star Trek starting in the 1960s and it'll be weird, right? Because racism.
Right.
But the fact that it's in the hella late, or it's some really far into the 2000s.
I think that happens in the early 2400s or late 2300s.
So, yeah.
Like
So